Welcome back, my sweet friends. My name is Emmy, my husband is Paul, and this is the channel Frugal Money Saver. We are so happy you have joined us today. Did you see the robins at the beginning of the video? They're here in New York. It just makes us so hopeful for spring. We had more snow over the weekend, like out of nowhere. We got another 4 inches. So seeing those robins are just so encouraging. There were a bunch of them and it was just beautiful. The first thing we want to say is Happy Valentine's Day. A day late. If you follow us over on Instagram, you saw that one of the gifts Paul gave me was this. Da-da-da-da! My unsalted saltine crackers. I came down in the morning and there were 2 little gifts and this was one of them. How well does he know me? So that just made our day. And if you're not following us over on Instagram, come on over. It's just one word, Frugal Money Saver. We just share little bits of our lives, what we're doing during the week, just to touch base with you all. In today's video, what we're going to do is make some bread bowls. We made some clam chowder soup and we put it in these homemade bread bowls, which can be used for stews, for soups, for dips, for anything. They were phenomenal. Not hard, don't be intimidated. What we try to do is create our favorite meals that cost us about $20 in a restaurant at home for pennies. That is what we did today. What we also want to talk about is what we call the video, a need for less. On our frugal journey, as you continue onward, you're going to notice something about yourself. You're going to start to notice you actually need less. And that need for less is not something that is uncomfortable. It's actually something you're striving for, that you want in your life, to actually enjoy that feeling of wanting less, a need for less, not needing so much. How do we go about that? Well, we're going to get into that right now. What we're going to do is actually show you ways you can go about achieving this. The first thing you're going to figure out, what kind of life do you truly want? What do you want? Not what some executive at an ad agency tells you you want. It's not what your family and friends think you want. What do you want? What do you want? What are you achieving by this frugal journey? I think once we become concrete with that, do you want to become debt-free? Are you saving for a vacation? Are you doing this way of life just because you embrace it? A lot of what Paul and I do is just because this is our first nature. This is who we are. We are mortgage and debt-free, but we love to take vacations. We need repairs in our home. So these are just things that we strive for. And we know we want a life where Paul was able to retire early, spend more time together doing more things instead of buying more things. And that was the goal we were working toward. And we knew not everybody was going to agree with that, but it was okay because we knew what we wanted. The second thing is we need to take care of ourselves. The frugal journey can put limits on our spending sometimes. We're not flooding material things into our homes and into our lives. We need to figure out ways to pamper ourselves. Could it be a bubble bath? Could it be sitting and reading a book? Could it be taking a walk outside? Whatever it is that recharges and regenerates you. Very, very important. We slow down, we listen to our bodies, we listen to our minds, and we figure out ways to actually make us feel special without spending a ton of money. And while you're pampering yourself, actually allow yourself to relax. I personally struggle with this. I am pretty much go, go, go. Am I not, Paul?
Yeah, you're always moving around doing something.
I try very hard to relax, but like my mind is always, okay, what do I need to do next? Or where can I be useful? Or what can I do? And sometimes I need to tone that down. And even Paul will tell me, while we are pampering ourselves, let's clear our minds. Let's relax. Another way that will help you to need less is to be hopeful. Be hopeful. When negative thoughts enter your head, push them out. Don't ruminate on them. Don't dwell on them, because that will lead to an unhappy frugal journey. Because once those negative thoughts go into our head, we're going to look for ways to make ourselves feel better, and that could sometimes mean spending. So don't dwell on those negative thoughts. Think of the simple, positive blessings every day. And that again will make you need less and want less. Another helpful way is making to-do lists. Feeling accomplished, feeling like we have done what we needed to do for that day. It helps you stay organized. It helps you realize how much you've actually accomplished. I know as retired people that sometimes the day will get away. So we started doing block scheduling. And if you guys are interested in ever seeing how we do our block schedules, because we have revamped them, let me know and I will do a video on it. It has helped us so much. You make a to-do list the night before of what you need to accomplish the next day. Okay, I need to film a video, or I need to edit a video. I need to bake bread. We need to go food shopping. I need to make sure the cleaning is done in the morning. You make a list. When it's done, you click it off. This is not an over-scheduled, heavy list of to-dos. This is your basic need to-dos. But when you see them crossed off or you see them checked off, it gives you a great feeling of satisfaction. And the same thing with payments on your mortgage or your car loan or your credit card debt. Put them down. Check those payments off. You did it. This all provides feelings of being satisfied, of being happy. It really does. Spend time doing what you love to do. The whole needing less is because we're filling our lives with things we love to do. And this goes back to number one, finding out what kind of life do you want for yourself. We love to gather with family. We had a tea party here Saturday night with my family. We played games, and who brought cupcake, who brought chips, tea and fruit, and we just had a lovely time. Do what you love and spend time with those you love. It satisfies who we truly are. When you're doing something you really enjoy doing, you're feeding your soul. You're feeding who you really are. And that in turn will really make you want less. You're meeting that need inside of you. Another thing that we do is we pay attention when we're doing mundane tasks. And we try to be present in the moment. So if I'm boiling a pot of tea and I'm waiting for that pot of tea to boil, maybe I'll shoot up a prayer for someone, or maybe I'll look out the window and see the birds, or chat with Paul while the teapot's coming to boil. Instead of sitting there, why is this pot not boiling? I have things to do. I need to get going. So we really need to be present every day, every minute. And I think I want to just conclude with this thought. What is your enough? When is it enough for you? The need for less, when does that become relevant? When does it become alive? What is your enough? And I think we need to all ask ourselves that with whatever area in life we are at. Is it enough? And I'm using myself. Do I have enough Pyrex? Yeah, until that piece of turquoise or the piece of pink comes along, and then I'm gone, you know? And with Paul, guitars, he loves music. So when is enough enough? When do you say, you know what? I'm done. We are content. We have enough. And that is going to be different for everyone. And it doesn't only mean material things. It could mean the way we think. That's enough negative thinking. It could be the way we eat. That's enough candy and cookies and chips for me. It could carry so many areas of our lives. At some point, we all get closer and closer. A need for less. I read your comments and you all are on this journey 100%. We are here with you, and when you leave those comments encouraging us, we thank you for that. Those are some things that maybe you can ponder a little while. We hope they were helpful. Now let's make some bread bowls. These are such a way to bring an oomph to any meal. There are so many ways to use these bread bowls. So let's turn the camera around and get into the kitchen together. This recipe will make 4 bread bowls. In my mixing bowl, I have 1.5 cups of warm water. I'm going to put in 3/4 of a tablespoon of yeast and a tablespoon of sugar. And we're just going to gently give this a mix, and we're going to let that sit for about 5 minutes. We're going to add 1, 2, 3.5 cups of flour, half a teaspoon of salt, and 2 tablespoons of butter that has been melted and then cooled. How cute are these spatulas? My niece gave me a whole set of them for my birthday. Oh my goodness, love them. We're going to mix this together for 5 minutes using my dough hook attachment. Just took this out of the mixer. You can see it's a beautiful dough. It's not sticky. I greased the bowl. Now I'm just rolling the dough around in the bowl to get some of that grease on the dough. We're going to cover it for about 30 to 45 minutes until it doubles in size. So that's what it looks like now, and we'll check back at 30 minutes, and then if it still doesn't look good, we'll do another 10 to 15. This rose for 45 minutes, and as you can tell, that is definitely doubled in size. What an easy recipe. Now what I'm going to do is, because I cut this recipe in half, I'm going to divide this dough into 4 pieces to make 4 bread bowls. I'm just breaking it in half, and then each piece in half. Because we want a round loaf, it is very important that we need to make a circle. So I'm just taking the dough and I'm doing this with it. And then I'm going to do something called the envelope system. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm just going to take it and make it into a round ball. See that? There's one. I'm putting it on a piece of parchment paper. Again, you're going to take this dough. This is a very important part, because if you don't do this, what's going to happen, it's going to come out like a pancake. So we're just going to flatten it just a little bit. We're going to go over, in one corner, in another corner, over, tuck it under. Using a serrated knife, make an X in each top. The original recipe will be linked down below. Now it says that we should cover it with a piece of plastic wrap. Cover that just like this. Don't want to cover it tightly. You need to cover it loosely, because if you cover it too tightly, it's not going to be able to rise. So we're going to do this. We're going to let it rise for another 30 to 40 minutes. So these rose for another 40 minutes. They really look great. In this bowl, I have 1 egg white and a tablespoon of milk. Don't waste the yolk. Save it for an omelet. Scramble it up. And now I'm just going to brush gently the tops with this mixture. We don't want to deflate them, that's for sure. The oven has preheated to 400 degrees, and I'm going to put these in 25 to 30 minutes. How easy was this whole procedure? This is Amazing. That's all I'm saying. Look at these. Look at these. Now, I am not an expert baker. I'm not. But these are really gorgeous. I am going to take them off the parchment paper and I'm going to let them cool a bit on a wire rack. I am actually beyond thrilled how well these turned out. Honestly, I did not think they would be this good. Wow. We are making New England clam chowder to put inside of our bread bowls. We are not from New England, so we are not claiming this is authentic New England clam chowder. What we need to make this recipe is about 1/4 of an onion chopped, stalk of celery chopped. We have a cup of potatoes that we diced. This is 2 cans, 6.5 ounces of minced clams that we just drained, and you can see the liquid. And we're going to need some milk and a little bit of butter, some flour to thicken everything up, and we're frying 2 pieces of bacon right now, also to add to the soup. So we fried our bacon in this pot, and we're leaving a little bit of the bacon drippings, and I'm also going to add about a teaspoon of butter in there as well. And we have this over medium heat right now. To the pot, we're going to add our onion and our celery. And I am just going to scrape up the bottom a little bit, get all that flavor from the bacon. We're going to let this cook until the celery is crisp tender. So just a few minutes. So this has been cooking for about 6 minutes or so, and you can see I scraped up so much of that deliciousness off the bottom of the pan. Now I'm going to take about a tablespoon of flour just to thicken this a little bit. So many of these dishes we cook here on the channel, if you were to buy them in a restaurant, they would cost so much more. And we love clam chowder, and yet we never think to make it, right? So now what I'm going to do is it calls for 1.5 cups of water. I am going to do 1 cup of water and about 1/2 cup of that clam juice. And I'm going to give this a mix around again to deglaze the pan, get all those yummy little bits off the bottom. And to that, I'm going to add our 1 cup of potatoes. I'm going to cook these covered for about 15 minutes or until the potatoes are cooked through. While the potatoes were cooking, I got up and stirred them every couple of minutes. It seemed like it was a little thick to me. I added another 1/4 cup water, and it was perfect because the potatoes had to cook and looked like they were absorbing a lot of the water, and it was getting really thick. So the potatoes are nice and tender. Now I'm going to add 1.5 cups of whole milk, the 2 cans of drained clams, and some fresh ground black pepper. So now what we want to do is just cook this for about 5 minutes on medium heat. So I want to make this a little thicker. So I just made a simple cornstarch slurry, which is just a little bit of cornstarch in water in a bowl, and then we add that right to our soup, just to thicken it up just a little bit. There we go. You see how that almost instantly thickens it. Paul just made a great suggestion. Before we take it off the heat, we're just going to give it a little sprinkling of Old Bay. Not too much, because that's got a distinct flavor. Before we cut into it, let's just gaze at this perfect little bread bowl. Oh, I am so excited. Okay, go ahead, Paul. Sorry.
All right, I'm going to try to cut a little opening in here, but I want to make it look like a bowl, so I need a side to it. There we go. Remove the cover.
Oh my goodness, look at the fluffy.
Look at this bread.
Now what you're going to do with this, don't discard it. You can use it to dip into the soup in your bread bowl or butter it and eat it on the side.
You don't want to cut all the way through so that when you take this out, it's going to be able to hold the soup
Right.
like a bowl. So you don't want the soup leaking through the bottom.
perfect. Yeah, please don't go too deep because then you've ruined the bowl. This smells so delightful. Here we go. We are putting this clam chowder in our bread bowl. Look at this.
Oh my goodness.
Come on. Come on, y'all. Ah, this looks great. And what I'm going to do is just take a little bit of bacon and sprinkle it right on top. And there you go, New England clam chowder in a homemade bread bowl. We wish you bon appetito. This soup is so good. Do you hear Dixie? I'm sorry, Dix, 1 minute, baby. I just took a piece of the bread that is on the side of the bowl with the soup. This is really, really good. Definitely 2 thumbs up. Also, little known fact about Emmy, soup and ice cream, I always use a plastic spoon. I have like 3 plastic spoons I will use over and over for soup and ice cream. Can't use metal. Don't know why. Another fun fact, make sure you eat your bread bowl in a bowl because once you start eating the bottom and the side, it's going to start coming out the bottom and the side. So make sure you put it in a bowl. Were they Paul approved?
They were Paul approved. Excellent.
First of all, delicious. They were beautiful. They really were appealing, and I'm thinking like for a next get-together or a little dinner party, what a fun way to just spruce it up a little bit. Saw how easy they were too. Please, I say this all the time, don't be intimidated by yeast spreads. They are really very, very simple. We ate it with the clam chowder, as you saw, but you can put stews, soups, dips, use your imagination, barbecue. I mean, really, it's just an edible bowl. Anything you would put in a bowl, put in a bread bowl. So fun. This was really a win, and I will be doing it again and again. We hope this video blessed you. We hope in some area it was encouraging. We thank you for being a part of our frugal journey. Every day we give thanks for you. Please give this a thumbs up. Hit that notification bell so you can get an alert every time we make a video. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet, please. Today's question of the day is, what is a meal that you create at home that you know if you went to a restaurant would cost you so much more? Like the bread bowls. If you were to buy a bread bowl with soup in a restaurant, it would cost you upwards of $20. They, as you saw, cost us pennies to make. What is an item that you pride yourself on? And if you want to leave this recipe, you know I would love that. What is a specialty item that you know you make cheaper at home than you could ever buy in a restaurant? Share that with us. Encourage us, please. Thank you again for being with us. We ask you to stay safe. We ask you to be well. And above all, we love you and we wish you blessings. Until our next video, bye-bye.